All right, welcome to Friday, everyone. Happy to have you here on another upstream marketing meeting working group under ContribEx. It seems like the usual crew here, so no new introductions to start, but please add your name and any notes you have or discussion points you have to the marketing meeting. Welcome, welcome. First place we start every week of like, what are some big wins related to what we're trying to accomplish? Anything new that's happened that we should celebrate or point out?
We used Rajula's contributor tweets repository and automated the tweet for working group naming, and that went out.
Yeah.
And we made it through another week.
I have one more great point, Chris. Always worthwhile adding these days. That's a very optional win. One thing that's pretty exciting, Rajula, Kazan, and I brainstormed on a topic and threw it in kind of last minute to the KubeCon contributor summit queue. I don't even actually know when we're talking, but we got it accepted. We're going to be talking about this working group and doing a deep dive on the bots that Rajula is doing a deep dive on the storytelling that Kaslan's been leading, and I'll do the overall vision stuff that Jonas, Paris, and I put together from the start.
Was that KubeCon itself?
So you know,
because there's no contributor summit right now.
Right.
Totally. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm talking about. It must have been KubeCon had. I like that I got a talk approved and I don't even know the context. Let me look that up for you.
You might have been to a few conferences if.
I've been pretty late. Yeah, it's going to be KubeCon, Cloud Native Con. We are added to the agenda.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah, I
just
guess
bought
they're
the
doing a
ticket
track.
today.
What was that?
I just bought the ticket today for yeah.
Oh, awesome.
I need to do that still, I think.
Yeah, you probably do.
This is cool, man. Congratulations. This is a big deal.
Oh, yeah, I'm not going to make it too big of a deal until it happens. But yeah, we've got to figure out how to record it in 3 different time zones and mash it together. Let me.
I feel like we have the skills on this team to help you with that.
Totally. Yeah. Here I'm adding the link to the agenda. So I guess it is officially.
Yeah, like that's the thing.
Officially on the schedule. I guess I thought it was like this side thing, but I guess we're speaking at KubeCon.
Yeah, congrats.
So the pitch was building better communications for Kubernetes contributors with marketing.
I just love the fact that it's Matt, it's Kaslan, it's Rajula. It's like it's the like core of the team, it feels like, right? Like not there's plenty of people on the team like that could speak to this, but like those are the 3 best, I feel like, to do it, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, we would not be where we are without everyone's contribution. Bob, you've been a mentor the whole time. Chris, you've been a mentor the whole time. George always swoops in to save the day when we need him. So like and Paris has been foundational. I mean, we wouldn't have started this. So just want a big hug it out to everybody. But thank you for the support. And yeah, just wanted to give everyone a heads up that we're gonna try to pitch that.
That's amazing. Like,
yeah, thanks.
That's awesome. Congrats.
Neat. Yeah, I want to say we made it to the schedule. KubeCon. Cool.
NBD.
Great. All right. NBD. All right, moving along to discussion items. The editorial is pretty quiet. The main thing in progress is I've been collaborating on a PR that I think merged in. I got to double check the status. Working with Sasha to get a definition of technical lead into the community repository. And then once that's approved, we're gonna just collaborate on a blog post to get that onto a website. My proposal is it goes to the contributor site as one of the first ways of explaining, like, how do you get involved? How do you start to elevate your responsibility inside the Kubernetes community? That's the only kind of update on that one.
So
any other writing or concerns there? Yeah.
Not writing concerns, but one thing that I would at least be prepped for, at least like tweet and possible follow-up item, is the steering committee election.
Right.
Because announcements come out Monday afternoon at the public steering meeting.
So yeah, we need to be Johnny on the spot with that.
The actual blog post that goes on ContribEx.io has historically been authored by the election committee. It's like a copy paste, just like, here's the people who ran, congrats to the winners, or the however many people won. But that should definitely be followed up, tweet and maybe open the door to something else. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Is there a PR already floating around for that, or
no? The PR for the
election is definitely
for the PR is usually cut like literally at the same time that it's announced, just because otherwise, but I can link you to the previous like blog posts that have been pushed.
Cool. Yeah, we'll grab it just for visibility would be helpful. Yeah. Great. And Caslin, any support you need from others to kind of have that covered on Monday, or Chris, were you covering it? I just want to take a moment to coordinate.
Whatever you need, Caslin, I'm here for you.
I'm thinking if you, Bob, oh, there it is. Send the link to the old blog post. I'll kind of take a look through that and create a PR based on that. And then we can just kind of make sure that post is good to go on Monday morning.
Well, I would reach out to like Josh, Ehor, and Jace, since they're the election committee. Again, the results won't be public until Monday afternoon. So we can't you can't really stage the PR or anything like that until.
Well, we can't put names in it for sure.
Yeah, you can't put names in it.
Yeah.
Right.
We can stage a framework. That's
If you want to stage it, and then just like as soon as the announcement is done, just PR in the names. That should work.
Yeah.
Actually, I think they would probably appreciate that, just because the election committee has been a little overrun with problems this time around.
Oh no, that's no good.
Yeah. So Josh, Ehor, and Jace, was that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you need me to do intros or anything, let me know.
Okay. So go ahead and draft a PR with no names and update that Monday morning. If it's Monday afternoon, we should have plenty of time to get that fixed up anyway. So
it's right after the steering steering meeting. I can tell you in a sec.
Yeah.
Can probably look it up on the calendar.
Yeah, I could look it up too. We all could look it up.
It is 2 p.m. PT or ET. So 11 a.m.
11 a.m. your time.
PT.
Okay. It's 1 p.m. my time. I'm gonna.
I mean, like any of us can cover it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would, Caslin, if you want to take the lead, that's cool.
Cool. I think I'll have some time this afternoon to look through that blog post and kind of come up with a first draft PR.
Honestly, it's pretty late, so it's like, it's literally just like results, big thanks.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun
it'll be a fun
emojis next to each people's handle. Yay! Congrats, we're happy for you. Celebrate with us.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Cube results out. I'm just adding that to my personal calendar. I don't think I'll set up. I'm just gonna try to block some time if anyone needs help then. But yeah, also it's exciting. It's exciting.
I mostly just wanted to make sure it was on people's radar, because like it's
totally
time sensitive in terms of like all the stuff in flight around at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. You said 2 p.m. Eastern?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's from 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern time, and it's on the calendar.
Yeah. I'll just set a task to just be like, hey, 3 p.m. Ta-da!
Yeah.
Have we done this yet?
Yeah. Sounds good.
Excellent. Moving right along, our kind of how do all the worlds collide through some bot action. We've got the Slack bot floating out there. I don't know if we're using it for anything yet, but just we're still figuring out whether it's usable. I think the last action item on the Slack bot was I'm still planning to put together a short survey to team leads and to SIG leads to say like, hey, these are the tools we have. Would it be helpful if we use them in these different ways? And get like a percentage of people to say whether they're into it or not and adjust accordingly. But just to help us go from like, we've got a nascent tool, but we don't quite have a strategy that we know people want to use. But so in the meantime, that's kind of on hold. The Tweetbot seems like it just passed its first beta, if you will, with the working group, the naming working group using it. Karthikeyan, you brought it up. Is there anything you want to note about how people use it, the good, the bad, and the ugly of the experience? Anything like that?
This time I just created an issue by myself on behalf of the working group naming, and the good thing is like when I said to them when the meeting was happening, like we were discussing how to publicize, like there is a thing called working group naming, and the working group naming handles these kind of like starting from racial discussions to all the offensive and non-offensive inclusive languages as well. So they were like unsure how to publicize this, and I said like we have a contributors tweet handle and we would do this, and the entire working group naming was so happy to see that there is something like we could do. The only thing is our contributors handle has very less amount of followers compared to Kubernetes. It's like very less, somewhere in the numbers of like 600 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think what's been good about it, and something maybe we can advertise to people, is that it gets picked up more than like people with 800 followers don't get 50 retweets or 100 retweets, but that K8's contributor handle does. So I think it has the right level of influence, but definitely short on followers for now.
So
yeah,
it is targeted to like a very different,
very targeted audience
demographic. Like it is targeted towards people that are either contributing to the upstream project already, or people that are interested in that sort of thing.
Yeah, but I think I might have jumped over your point though, Karthikeyan. Are you saying that was a concern the other teams had?
That was not like a top concern, but even though when you look at contributors arena, like we have like 60,000 contributors for Kubernetes though, right? And having like 600 followers is like kind of like 10% of what we have as a contributors account. So that is one thing, and they like the end users of the tweet handle still cannot do all by themselves. We need to actually provide an issue. So that's where like we had another discussion, like we should automate the PR. So that's the stuff I wanted to.
Oh, okay. Could you say that one more time?
Automate the PR.
Like, so when what we want to do is like, say, for example, if I'm part of like working group naming, and I'll just go to this contributor tweets repository, and I'll create an issue. So this is the tweet content that I wanted to put, and this is probably my schedule that I want the tweet to get tweeted. And then I should do no more than that and no less than that. Then the repository should have the intelligence by itself, like doing, okay, this is the tweet and this is the time it should get tweeted out. It should do by itself. There shouldn't be any manual intervention. Maybe an approval is fine. An approval is required, like how we do today. But rest of the stuffs should be like easy for the end users. It is, so simply put, it is not that user friendly at this moment.
And to be specific, the not user friendly part at the moment is that they need that
you have to create a tweet file. You have to create a file, and then you have to PR into the repository by some user. So that's the other thing I have added as the additional discussion point on that agenda. I have recorded the screen recording of the prototype of that. So
oh, cool.
my bandwidth is like not so great, so I've recorded it like as we discussed in our last meeting. So if you could share that, I can walk through that.
Sure.
So this uses the same framework like after the PR, this uses the same framework as Rajula have created on the contributors repository. I did this prototype in my own repository. So it has a issue template, and we can change the issue template however we want. But there is one gotcha, like this is something like Bob brought up last time. The DCO part, I'm not sure how we gonna handle this, because we need so the GitHub Actions will check in the file and it will create a PR. So not sure the developer certificate origin would work.
Great. So I'll share my screen. We can. It's a pretty short video. Oh, it's
8 minutes.
Yeah. 8 minutes.
We can just scroll through. I mean, we can just skim it. It's fine.
Okay. Sure. I'll skim. Let's see.
So what I have is like an issue template where I would ask what is the tweet content that you want, and
do you see
what is the time?
video okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is like just a tweet issue template, and when you say like, okay, create a new issue, you will be provided with a template, and I would ask like, okay, input your tweet content exactly below the commented columns. So this is where I'm parsing the tweet content and creating a file. So when the user creates the content there, that would actually get into a PR. The later part, the last one, the tweet schedule is not something I have implemented because scheduling API is not available in our Twitter together. So I was thinking of doing a cron job, but that is later at some point in time. So when the user creates the tweet, what it does is like the GitHub Actions would actually, without the time, the GitHub Actions would automatically validate the tweet length, and then it creates a PR. So the moment you create the issue, it would run on the behind the scenes, and then it would create a PR and it would attach the PR to this issue. So now if you look into the issue, PR, you will have this PR is auto-generated. Like we can change the comment and it would CC the author. We could assign reviews or approvers, and then it would be PR'd over here. And this is the PR that the user or the approver needs to approve. So from here, if they approve, then Rajula's bot would automatically tweet it because it reaches the main repository. So this is what I've done so far. And the one other thing is like the merge conflicts. With this approach, we wouldn't have any merge conflicts because we are actually adding new files to the tweet folder every single time. So there is no merge conflicts or merge like repository rebase record at any point in time.
So I like this. There is one other idea I'm just thinking about. That would also mean for things like enhancements freeze and some of the other stuff, they could essentially just be pre-canned issue templates. So it's just like, okay, enhancements freeze is the state. Come in, create the button, or press the button for an enhancements freeze tweet, punch in some of the little other details, and go.
Off you go. Yeah.
Right. I would definitely want so like all the tweets to be approved. The PR wouldn't necessarily have to be approved, but like it should have a label added to the issue, even if it's something like sort of like what we do with needs triage right now. It's just like needs comms approval or something like that. And then anyone that is a member of that has right access to the repo, or a part of a GitHub team like our comms team, could essentially add that label, and then the magic happens.
Right.
Yeah.
This would also be a good opportunity to there's an issue that I noticed with the repo is that we need to have a consistent naming scheme. I noticed that some of the date formats are different for different tweets in the repo right now, and if we were to rename them, it would retweet them. So we're stuck that way.
Oh, funny.
That is funny.
Yeah,
I've seen that a couple of tweets were on DDMM and a couple of them were MMDD format.
Yeah.
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 Well,
so if we were to automate that process, We could make sure that never happens.
Right,
Yeah.
like date validation, all that fun stuff. Yeah.
The other thing, at least in the future, is that we could, like, every year archive the tweets that were previously in the directory. So it's just like,
Yeah.
we'll create, like, when 2020 is finally over, we'll create like an archive 2020 folder and and take any of the tweets from 2020 and just move them into there.
Totally.
Well, we are just halfway through 2020.
It's March 222nd.
Oh God.
So I've added a couple other features as well that I missed to explain. So I've already added the tweet length validation in this. So if it is exceeding 240 characters, it would say like your tweet length is exceeding the tweet character, and then it would ask you to rephrase it. So once you rephrase it, all you need to do is like just validate, like /validate action comment, and then the action comment would re-trigger the flow again, and then it would validate, and then it would create a PR.
Beautiful.
This is truly brilliant.
Yeah.
And the file name extensions, like how we want to do as well, it is also like configurable. If you want to say like mmddyy or ddmmyy, however you want, it would create in that manner.
Mm-hmm.
With 30 characters of tweet issue title as the file name. I mean, I don't want to put the entire issue title as the file name, because maybe someone will tweet like, this is a tweet regarding ABC on XYZ. I don't want to put that as the file name. So I just restrict to 30 characters of the file name and ddmmyy format attached to that.
That's great. I mean, those are all good assumptions, and we can fine tune the heck out of the details. But I think to comment on the overall flow that you are thinking through, that like people can now tweet via an issue with the date associated with it. I mean, I'm just blown away at how much smoother of an experience that would be for people. That's really neat, and like to have the bot communicating with them and they're able to validate the timestamp. Like, I'm blown away.
Sick. It's awesome.
This is really cool. This is really cool. Great.
So what I'll do is like I'll also do the prototype of the cron job scheduling, as you said, and then I'll just do a PR to Rajula, and then Rajula can decide which action should go first. And then, I mean, obviously Rajula's action is the last one to go because that's the tweet's action. And then he can rebase and merge it into that contributor tweet.
Okay, so this will be a tool alongside the contributor tweet
correct,
tool,
correct.
like all in the same repo, all in the same.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was what I was mostly wondering about. Like, what is this a new like flow?
No, we don't want to mix a lot of tools for one single function.
I completely agree. We're not going full serverless. Let's keep
serverless
keep
with nano services.
Yeah. You know what's easy? Microservices. Let's get smaller. Okay. Any other? I think we almost to the end of the video. Anything?
Yeah. That's all actually.
Okay. Wow.
That's awesome. Good work,
Karthikeyan. This is
Thank
the
you.
coolest
Amazing
GitHub
stuff.
Action thing I've seen. Quite frankly, I'm
like
blown away.
Like I'm seriously considering like reaching out to the marketing folks at GitHub and being like, look what we've done with GitHub Actions. Like after this goes into place.
I'm 100% with you, and yeah, Kath, who's like the original product manager for it, she will be blown away, and she's looking for stuff like this in the wild. So first things first, let's get it deployed.
Yeah. But like this is amazing. This is so amazing. Like that's where my head's at right now, right? Like
you should get a blog post or video on GitHub.com for this. You killed it.
For real. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, wow, that was cool. So I guess is there a issue in our community repo kind of following along with this, or is there anything we can do to help follow along and keep this visible for you and others, Karthikeyan or Rajula?
I think we can just create an issue in the existing contributor tweets and then follow it up.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I think the only thing is we just have to make the bot part of CLS,
Right. Yeah, that's the DCO one I said. So that CLA sign is something that I haven't tested out yet because this is tested out in my own repository.
Yeah, I can find out a bit about bot and CLA stuff here
Okay,
soon.
that would be great.
Great. And you think that's going to be like talking to the infra team on what they do? Or?
There's a process for it, I think, already, right? Like,
yeah, we have a way of essentially like getting bot accounts whitelist for that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Got it.
Yeah, we're happy to help along that path. Thanks.
I think it's a pretty good start. At some point, we can try to do Slack from GitHub issue if required.
Ooh,
cool.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. For first things first, like this idea of the issue-based template workflow instead of people manually making the files. Yeah, I think I'm like, oh well, isn't that convenient enough that you don't need credentials or anything? You're like, no, you've just made it infinitely better. So good deal. Any other comments or questions or gaps that we need to have somebody look into? All right, next up, we've got tweet content recommendations by, is that you, Rajula? Or?
Yeah, I've added this. I think it
cool.
Probably can tweet about it sometime.
Love it. Past 50,000 contributors. That's a lot of people.
A lot of people. 250,000 commits. Like, that number blows me away too.
Yeah. A lot of PR review.
I'm gonna ask the same naive question once again. Sorry for asking this, but
you're good.
So looking at 50,000 contributors and having like 600 and odd Twitter followers for K8s contributors, should we do something on that to make ourselves more branded amongst our contributors?
I think we need to think about marketing the K8s contributor account maybe a little better.
That too. The other thing I just want to say is like the contributors metric in DevStats is anyone that has interacted with any of Kubernetes repos. So if they've created an issue, if they've responded to a comment on there, that's what's folded into the contributor count. So don't be like,
yeah.
And
also keep in mind, there's a small portion of that population that's probably on Twitter. So
right.
Yep. Our more active base of users is roughly around 3,000 people.
Yeah.
Like those are the people that I would say are consistently interacting with it.
We're close to a third of those. We're just shy of 1,000 followers right now. But I mean, we can open some pull requests we can just directly ask people to follow us. Like that is a useful strategy in a meaningful way. It's like, hey, if you're contributing to Kubernetes, follow here for the latest.
So this week I actually scheduled a tweet of my own for my own account to like go out and say, hey, go follow this thing. And like that drew some people to it. I can stuff this in my newsletter as well this week to just be like, hey, if you're a K8s contributor, like go follow this Twitter account for, the latest and greatest kind of thing.
The other thing we could do is put this also into the new contributor workshop. We're making a completely digital version anyway.
Yeah.
As part of, just like when we list like what you should join, like, when you join the Kubernetes dev mailing list or, join XYZ, we include, if you're on Twitter, follow the contributor account here.
Nice. That would be cool.
Yeah.
That wouldn't hit our, current user base, but it would potentially, ensure that new people coming in would at least a greater chance of them seeing it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and to be honest, there's only so much we can do, right? Like it's a new account. It's going to take a little bit of time, and Twitter growth usually happens organically. So, I mean, unless you have like one big event kind of thing just happen on Twitter, you don't get a lot of followers all at once.
Right.
The other thing, and this would actually be good for the marketing talk, is make sure it's called out in there.
Totally. I mean, yeah, we're still so few people know about us as a group. Like there are definitely fewer than 961 people that know about us, and that's how many followers we have on that account. So like, yeah, we're in the early stages of awareness, but that's not to say we shouldn't always be keeping that in mind and how to grow. So I think it's the right question, and to take a second to think through that and brainstorm different ideas, different ways to get the word out. Little competitions, if we can think of a competition or something that is fun but within the bounds of our community. George, what's on your mind?
I just did a quick addition of famous Kubernetes people on Twitter, like the Kelseys, the Joes, the Ians.
Yeah.
One tweet from all of them
would. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally. Exactly. We need some influencer help.
Yeah.
And I can reach out to those people.
We need you.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Like George and I can hit that up if you want. I feel like if you want to tag team with George.
One other possibility too is actually with the steering election thing. If the Kate's Contrib account is the first thing to like really tweet that out.
Yeah.
And then it gets essentially,
millions of retweets.
Yeah, get more people to retweet that.
Yeah.
I'd like, but George, what were you gonna say? I think you.
Oh, I was just nodding. Yeah, because I see Joe has 37,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ian is off the charts, I think.
Yeah, she has.
No, they're like 60,000. Yeah,
sorry.
61.
It's okay.
Kelsey 108,000.
Yeah.
I think Thawkins at like 20,000.
What am I doing with my life? Thawkin, I gotta know.
Cool.
Another one is to also ask the company social accounts to do that as well. So like,
I could tweet from OpenShift right now.
Whatever number of followers that is, to retweet the official account instead of. In the past, we wrote, congratulations on blah, blah, blah release. If there was just something an official account that we could RT, I could tell my social people at work to do that. And then if we all go back to our companies and do that, I don't know how many people follow Red Hat Marketing or whatever account it is.
I think Red Hat OpenShift has like 15,000 followers or something like that.
Falcon is
all good. So
60,000 at OpenShift.
Yeah,
it's an option.
So is this okay? Like, so I'm working in BlackRock. Is this okay? Like, if they say our employer, our Aladdin engineer Karthikeyan is working with SIG ContribEx marketing team.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah,
I would love that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
No, it's a fair question because we do try to take our vendor hats off when we're in SIGs and working groups, and I really respect that about this community because we all work at frenemies and competitors and all of the above, whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, I think, yeah, absolutely. It's still very realistic to say like those companies are allowing us the time to invest in this community, and as when done respectfully, like absolutely.
Yeah. As long as we keep it classy, right?
Keep it classy. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Great. All right. Well, a lot of good ideas. Is anyone kind of on point for George, can I put you on point for like the influencer outreach type idea that you had? And Bob, you mentioned helping us with the election follow-up.
I could do a few, but like
I can help you, George. Let's
I would prefer asking the people who know those people more.
Yes.
I can text Kelsey, right? Like,
I don't know text Kelsey as well as some of you.
Okay. And who knows Ian well?
I know Ian well.
Yeah, Bob, just hit her up real quick.
Hey.
Okay.
And like, I've got a sample tweet out there already. Let me just grab it real quick.
Ping Ian, George to ping.
I'll do Joe. I don't know, VMware account has like 300,000 followers.
That's crazy.
Possibly they be doing whatever.
Yeah, it's tough. When you pay people to do it and do it well, it grows.
Yeah.
And when you don't, it's lame. When you're a company, I'm saying we're cool. Okay. Good. We've got some coverage there. We've got a few light ideas. We've got some longer term ideas. Great. Carthaginian, great call. We're always good to kind of invest in ourselves for a moment.
Yep.
All right. Okay. So at the back half of the meeting, where we normally look through the recurring items, their calendar walkthrough of email announcements. It sounds like the steering committee is covering itself, but is there any other big things happening next week? The
big thing will just be the tweet on, I think on our side. Well, that and Keston said she was going to draft the, potentially draft something.
Yep.
That's the plan.
I just have a quick question. Can we do that election tweet during the steering committee meeting, like as soon as, like, say we join, like someone tells us, or if we are part of the meeting and then tweet it immediately? Does that help?
Yep, and that's fine. That, like, when we did the announcement last year, the blog post essentially went live immediately after the announcement.
Okay.
Immediately after the announcement or immediately after the meeting?
An announcement. Like, I don't remember if it was like me or George who authored the PR, but like we had the PR ready, and yeah. I think George, you were leading the meeting. I was sitting there on the PR, and as soon as it announced, I just like opened the open the PR.
Someone in the background did the LGTM and approved. We kind of gave them a heads up.
Is that an open meeting?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's the public.
Oh,
public
I didn't
steering.
realize
So
that.
I could just call into that on Monday if I have time, or someone else could, and we could align the tweet with the actual announcement in the meeting.
Yeah. All hands on deck for Monday's meeting is what I'm telling everyone, because it's cool. Everyone's there. Everyone's celebrating.
My schedule looks free then, so I will plan to join that meeting.
Let me add it to my calendar.
Yeah, the steering committee actually finds out today, and the rest of the world finds out on Monday.
That makes sense.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Great. That sounds like a plan. We've got some big things in progress. Good. We'll see if we can support the steering committee announcements some more. We've got Rajula and Karthikeyan killing it with this Twitter integration. And we're gonna get some growth on that Twitter account as our focus. And a few of us are gonna put together a talk for KubeCon. So that's pretty damn neat.
Matt, I forgot one thing.
Please.
The community meeting after the public steering meeting, the steering committee is doing their annual update to the community as well. So there'll be an election during an open steering meeting, and then that Thursday they'll do the, and that will be the first kind of public outing of the new steering committee for the year. So heads up on that.
Nice.
Okay, so we should. Yep, go
I'm
for
sorry.
it.
What do I look for in the calendar? I don't find that. It's under a different name.
It's Kubernetes monthly steering committee meeting.
That's on Monday, right? What was the Thursday one?
The 12th. Yes.
No, George was saying a different one on Thursday.
Yeah, the monthly community meeting.
Oh yeah.
So steering has bi-weekly public meetings.
I don't see it on my calendar. Probably it's in a ContribEx calendar. I'll check it out.
The steering meeting. So steering has a calendar themselves.
Okay.
Hang on.
If you go to kates.dev/calendar, you can see it.
And what day are we talking about? What day of the week?
Thursday. So the first link is to the steering committee meeting, and the second link will be to the public, which isn't on here.
Yeah, because I'm walking through the calendar and I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it, guys. Folks.
Which one? The
Thursday, the 15th, the community meeting. Or is it next Thursday? Or the Thursday after, I mean.
No, it should be I think I know why.
Okay.
It was there the other day. I swear to God, it was.
I'm sure it was. Trust
Pop was
me.
like, I
there's
can't
no
find
such
this, and
thing
I
as
was
a
like,
good
"Here it
calendar
is."
tool. Things disappear off of Google Calendar. It's very disconcerting.
Well, I'll follow up on Slack on that one.
Okay. Well, hey, I'm glad we identified that because it'd be good to have there. The easiest statement possible there. Okay, cool.
Yeah, George, it's not on my calendar either.
Yeah. I mean, it's
gone.
Gone.
Where we're going, we don't need meetings. Okay.
Just my
great. All right. We'll move it along to issue walkthrough. There's nothing standing out in our main ContribCom space. Website has nothing. In the community space, the blue link there will drop you where you want. And the only one I wanted to bring up, I think we have enough time to at least scratch the surface of it, was where we left off with Paris's request for tweet every time we go live. Chris, I know you looked into it. I just wanted to see if that discussion in SIG ContribEx generated anything.
I don't know if it did or not. I forget. Let me go look.
Sure.
That was on my list of to-dos today, and I haven't made it there yet. So let's see. Let's see. So I've looked into this in the past. I couldn't find anything useful. Similarly, I've always wanted to be a live banner. I haven't found anything that integrates automatically. So Streamlabs basically and Restream.io can do this, but YouTube gives you your live email notification. Could we if this then that to Twitter was Paris's thing, and somebody plus one that, and that sounds like a potential easy lift. Without integrating a third-party service, but would be a third-party service. Like we wouldn't have to integrate it like authentication-wise with the YouTube account, right? It would just be some third-party thing that would grab the email and then send tweet kind of deal. That makes sense.
It'd become from the contributors at contributors.io account, which we're already looking into with Zapier for other things.
That would be. Sounds like you're going deep on Zapier, which means that would be an ideal place for any automation.
Oh, so we are looking into Zapier from Kubernetes community.
We are.
Yeah, I tried to automate this meeting and it already failed. So
nice.
But that was my fault. I was logged into the wrong. Logging into the wrong account.
Yeah, I've done that before. Oh, I automated that with the wrong account. Whoops.
It was a while back when I was tried Zapier for my personal stuff, and I recommended, not recommended, I was discussing like injecting the Zapier into the meetings, and it was told like we don't want to integrate any other tool into community because Zapier needs licensing as well. And I'm so happy because with Zapier we could do millions and millions of automation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and we're gonna pay for it and everything. We're gonna have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Because of the API, just for the meetings themselves, that's gonna be like 200 calls a day kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So the right now, because this is a tangent, but Splane, our automation to get Zoom to YouTube, has been abysmal. Like it works maybe half the time.
Ooh.
So
is that why I get big dumps on like my YouTube subscription for that account?
No, that's George going in and doing that.
That's what I figured, right? Like, yeah, George is dumping files in. Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
So I think this team has a lot of interest in automation. I mean, we've made that pretty clear. But so George, where's the best place to follow along if we want to?
Literally, Bob and I thought about it this week. We're like, you know what? We need to go deep into Zapier, or we're gonna die.
There's an open issue in K community on it.
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So
I would be happy to. If someone on this team wants to investigate Zapier for doing this, I would be happy to share that account. So we're doing it all in one account, right? We don't want a bunch of separate accounts. We just want one contributor account.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
That makes it really easy for the CNCF to just pay for that account, and then we'll be good.
Yeah.
And then
the one thing I will say is like if it requires authentication with the contributor's ad account, that is something we cannot pass around. Only 3 people have access to that account because it's sort of the master keys to the universe.
Yeah.
Just as a broad FYI.
Wait, keys to what exactly?
So
The
contributors
G
that to like G Suite, every calendar, every
no, that's terrifying amounts of access.
It's a high level of access, so it has to be incredibly sensitive.
Right, but we can still prototype the zaps and figure them out.
And then you just
one of us
pass
logs
them
with the right
keys.
creds, and then we just do a test plan and all that.
So
you can actually, like, on your personal account, create it and then share it, and then you can load it in and done.
But I'd say, Karthikeyan and I are definitely interested so far. If others are interested, raise your hand as well. But I really love messing with Zapier. Like, I had such a janky, awesome automation process in past startups. It's neat.
So, not me. I'm sitting there. I'm like, we're gonna have. If you like Zapier, we're gonna have to make 2 zaps per SIG.
Yeah.
So that's like 100. Plus all the other working groups and
Wasn't it going to be 1 zap per SIG and then lots for contributors at?
Well,
I think
each SIG will have a zap to put their stuff into the Kubernetes Google Drive.
Yep.
And then each SIG will have to, to put it in the right place, we'll have to have contributors at G Drive pushed to YouTube.
So that's 1 zap per SIG.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's 2.
Well,
one to move into the Google Drive.
Owned by the SIG account.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Sorry, we're
we have up to a minute left on this meeting, and I think the automation tangency is.
What have we done?
Yes, I love it.
It's of interest. Okay, so those interested, the follow-up item, find that issue in the community repo and comment on it. Volunteers tribute very much how you showed up here, and we'll tag on that together. That sounds really fun and like a great afternoon. So, and I'm not being sarcastic, but that does actually sound cool. But with that, I think we're wrapping up right on time for this meeting. Thank you all for being here and having some awesome ideas, and we will see you next week.
Awesome. Thank you all.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. All right.